Do you remember the first time you met Jimmy?
Yes. The first time I met Jimmy, I came to Nashville to record, and the studio owner called Jimmy while I was sitting there in the office, and he said, we're going to do a session on a young lady, and he said, I'd like for you to be the band leader. And so as the guys were filing in, and when Jimmy walked through the studio door, I said, I know him. That's Jimmy Capps. He plays on the Grand Ole Opry. But I hadn't put it together, you know, when the producer or the studio owner had first called him. I didn't realize. And when he walked in, I was like, man, he plays on the Opry, you know. And
in 1995, I met a girl named Michele. She was a singer, a very good singer. And we did a kind of a pop album on her over at Oak Valley Studios.
So anyway, that was the first time we met, but we just became really good friends, and a short time later I moved to Nashville and started going to the Opry. He and Billy Linneman would clear me to come to the Opry, and I came often enough that the guys, when they needed a chart from the band room, I just would go run get it for them. So I started doing that on a regular basis and kind of built a little job that the guys called me the Opry chart chick, but I consider myself the babysitter for the staff band. More of a babysitter than anything.
Michele worked for the post office, and she had a route where she carried the mail, a walking route, and she sang as she walked. So she was known as a singing letter carrier.
We just became really good friends over the years, you know, and he has such a big heart, and he's just so kind to everyone, and sensitive to how others feel. And so it was really easy to learn to respect him, and not just as a musician, but as a person. He asked me just a few years before we got married, he said, would you still like me if I didn't play guitar? Would we still be friends, you know? Would you be drawn to me? And I said, I really thought long and hard, and I thought, I can't imagine you without a guitar. It's an extension of who you are, so I can't answer that question because that's part of who you are. And it's evident in his playing that his heart is in his playing.
Probably one of the best things ever happened to me was meeting her.
What were you attracted to Jimmy? What qualities drew you to him?
I think his eyes, his kind blue eyes. He just was so, just such a kind person. And then, you know, as I got to know him and found out what a big heart that he has, and stuff touches his heart so easily, and it kind of embarrasses him that things will bring him to tears, but for me, it just showed me what a heart he has for people, and for the music that he plays. You know, it all comes from his heart, and I think that's what I really fell in love with was his heart, because he has a sweet one.
People sometimes ask if he's a real sheriff.
Oh Lord, they do, because he plays the sheriff on Larry's Country Diner. But I tell him, no, he's not a real sheriff. In fact, he wouldn't make a very good sheriff at all. He would say, that's okay, son. Tap him on the hand. That's okay, son. Just don't do it again, you know. But he wouldn't make a good sheriff. He's not mean enough. Not to say that all sheriffs are mean, but, you know, he's very lenient. And
he'd let everybody out of jail?
He would let everybody out of jail, and we'd all be in trouble.
There's a little bit of age difference between you two. Do you get asked about that?
A little bit, because when he tells people we have the same birthday, and they're like, but a different year, right? You know, and yeah, there's a little bit of an age difference there, but I think he and I were both raised in the same way. I was raised in a conservative home, and with conservative ways, and so that makes me a little more old-fashioned. But yet he's a modern thinker, you know, when it comes to a lot of things. He's not stuck in the past, so I think we make a good match, even though our years are different, but we still think a lot alike.
I knew that I could overlook the fact that she was younger and much more beautiful than I was.
Being married to Jimmy is a blessing. He is so patient and he's so kind, and he loves to try new things, you know, and see new places. So he has an adventurous nature that a lot of people don't realize that he has, because he's so quiet. He's taught me to be a little quieter and to think a little longer before I speak. And he's a deep thinker. And if Jimmy ever tells you something, you can know that it's from his heart. Well, the first time that Jimmy asked me when my birthday was, I told him May 25th, and he said, "So's mine." And I said, "You're lying." We were at a studio working, and he said, "No, seriously." So he pulls his wallet out, and we do have the same birthday. So we jokingly talk about how that we have the same birthday and the same sign. It's just a neon sign.
What else would you like people to know who are watching this about Jimmy?
That he is a very humble man. And when he was, you know, working on the book, and the main thing with him is he never wanted to sound like he was bragging on himself. And that's the last thing he would do. He's always said, if you're patting yourself on the back, no one else has a chance to. And it doesn't mean anything if you pat yourself on the back. And he lives by that. And he's just really humble. And I know a lot of people see him as being a successful, I call him a legendary guitar player, and that embarrasses him, but he is. But you would never know it just meeting him on the street, because he is very humble. But I think that a lot of people think that when someone has, you know, had the success like he's had, that he wouldn't be approachable, and he very much is. And he always appreciates when somebody recognizes him, and it's more important to him to be respected by his peers and by the fans than for them to think that he's a hot guitar player, you know. It means more that they think well of him.
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Good.
Good.
Danny?
They could be swapping.
In the room?
I think they've been swapping capsules.
Maybe
Because David had said
didn't have that
that.
screen on the way. That's going
Very well
to.
could be.
Hey, girl. Mr. Caps.
Hey, Paul.
How you, brother?
Good.
Good to see you, son.